Hello, my name is Taylor Paxton, and today I'm talking to you about strengthening others in sports and how it can help your program. So, what do we mean by strengthening others? Oftentimes in athletics, when we think of strength, we think of physical strength. However, when strengthening others, it is more from a mental standpoint. The goals of strengthening others is to bring out the best in them by instilling confidence. Having confident employees or athletes uh, allows them to have a better production on the field and in the office and strengthen the organization as a whole. It's also important to have a mutual respect and accountability between coaches and their constituents. Um, Being able to have a respectful relationship allows the constituents to feel supported, and when you hold them accountable, they will be able to hold you accountable as well. You also want to create an environment where people are fully engaged and in control. Uh, if an organization has members who do not feel like they are engaged, then they will not be willing to put forth their best effort for the organization. And if they don't feel in control of their role, then they will also have a negative effect. So it's important for them to have some control. Positivity breeds strength, meaning that your positive outlook and attitude as a manager is important to building the mental strength of your constituents, your athletes, and coaches, so they will carry on the same positivity. And it is important to nurture self confidence. Oftentimes, you will be dealing with young student athletes who have very fragile self confidence, and so you need to take care of that and ensure that they have the highest self confidence possible. So, how does this relate to sports? During this presentation, I want you to look at it from the eyes of a head coach of a collegiate athletics program. I'm a football coach at Henderson State, and so when I was creating this presentation, that was the point of view I took. Um, it relates by needing to strengthen both your players and your staff members. As a head coach, you are responsible not only for your athletes, but also your assistant coaches. So it's important to strengthen their mentality as much as possible. It is also important for them to feel important to the team. With as many people that are involved in a program, is easy that they would feel like they are more of a number than an individual. So it is important that they feel that each one of them are important contributors to the end goal of the organization. You also need to give them responsibilities that they can excel in. Do not set your constituents up for failure, but provide them with a role they can succeed in. This will build their confidence and inspire them to do well. As stated in the article from Advances in Management titled Quality of Work Life, a Strategy for Good Industrial Relations, in order to increase the quality of work for employees, you need to arrange jobs for maximum utilization of individual talents and skills in order to create a more challenging and satisfying work and improve organization effectiveness. Essentially, in order to maintain a positive environment for your employees, you as a leader must put them in roles that can utilize their specific talents, that will interest them and motivate them to take on more responsibility in the organization. Essentials to strengthen others. There are two key categories that we'll go into for strengthening your constituents. The first one being enhanced self determination, which is motivating your employees and players, and developing competence and confidence, which are ways to build your team's abilities to handle their jobs with success. Enhancing self determination. First, we will talk about empowerment. It is important to make sure that your constituents feel strong and capable to do their role in the organization. People who feel weak or incompetent and insignificant are consistently underperforming. They want to flee the organization and will even attempt a revolution, possibly. Next, having power versus being powerless. You need to put your people in a position of power. In doing so, their outlook on their position will be greatly improved. They'll feel like they contribute, have a say in what's going on, and are in control of their role on the team. If they feel powerless, they will develop poor leadership styles, will become petty, dictator-like, and will hold on to what little bit of power they do have. They'll also become more prone to passing the buck when troubles arise because they do not feel like that was their responsibility to ensure that it went smoothly. You also need to provide them with choices. For instance, asking them what they think that we as a team should do given a certain situation. Using we, I believe, is important because it makes them feel like they are part of the organization as a whole and have important say in what happens. And with the freedom of choice, they will be, without freedom of choice, they will be unable to act outside of what you as a manager have prescribed them, which makes it difficult when situations arise that you have not explained to them what to do. I included this quote from Muhammad Ali, the man who has no imagination has no wings. Is very applicable to this situation because if you do not give your constituents the ability to have any say, have any freedom, then essentially you will keep them in a cage and they will not be able to grow, and neither will your organization. Next, I will talk about developing competence and confidence. First, I'll talk about education. It's important to educate and train your constituents. According to Govill's article, The Importance of Training in an Organization, the goals of training are to enable employees to deal with changing jobs and roles that they will come into while with the organization, develop knowledge, skill, and attitude for handling these jobs efficiently, and bridge the gap between what they currently know and what they will need to know for their jobs ahead. Without education and coaching, people are hesitant to use their knowledge for fear of failure, doing a job wrong, so it's important that they understand that. It's also important to be patient with your constituents because, say you have a player do something wrong on the field, don't just berate them because they might not fully understand what it is you want from them. So make sure you explain to them exactly what is needed. You also need to work to build confidence. An example given from the Leadership Challenge is of Jack Stack, the CEO from SRC Holdings, who used what he called the open book management with his employees, where he allowed every employee to have a say in the company's actions, good or bad, and ensured that they understood how they affected the company's success. You need to have a similar role with your players and coaches so they can feel like they have a say in the organization. And you need to foster self-confidence. Just because someone knows how to do something doesn't mean that they will do it. You have to take action and create situations to strengthen their self-esteem and internal sense of effectiveness. And then leaders coach. You need to actively seek out ways to increase choice, provide greater decision making, develop capabilities of the team to foster self-confidence. There are 3 steps really to strengthening others. It's a process of turning constituents into leaders capable of acting on their own initiatives. In order to do this, we'll talk about increased individual accountability. By doing this, individuals will be far more willing to work hard on the job because they feel they have a sense of pride, because if they succeed, it is because of them, but also if they fail, it is because of them. By having more accountability, they will have a sense of pride for what they do and take more serious actions. You also need to offer visible support. By showing support to your players, to your assistant coaches, you let them know that you are in their corner, which is important, um, so they know that you are for them, not against them, and will be able to perform better by knowing that they have your support and that you will not jump them as soon as they make a mistake. So there's a critical aspect. Also, you need to conduct weekly coaching conversations, say during the season. Um, Things go wrong, whatever happens, you need to be able to sit down and talk to your coaches about what things happen during the week and how you need to move forward. But it's also important to use positive reinforcement, tell them what they did well. Otherwise, if you come at them purely criticizing, they will feel negatively about their effectiveness in their role and will not perform as well. So it needs to be a positive interaction. In conclusion, you can see how a head coach is very similar to that of a business manager in his role. It is his job to ensure that his employees and athletes perform to their highest capabilities in order for the organization to succeed. And by strengthening others, you can create leaders, self-motivators to create a strong organization. Thank you for listening, and I hope this presentation has been beneficial.